One of my favorite quotes is from actually the broker record that I go under is education without execution is just entertainment.
I love that, Don. I friggin' love that, man. All right, all right. Today I'm super excited to have a friend of mine. I call a friend now, Donald Porter. We met at a private event in Toronto, and we just kind of hit it off. We got talking, and your story is incredible. How you created the agent league, and how you're helping a ton of agents succeed in the business, especially in these tough times. And I'm super happy to have you on the show here, and we can chat a little bit about how you're helping people and what you got going on, man.
Thanks, man. It's great to be here, and thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, I love it, dude. First thing I want to know, like, I guess, what's your story, man? Like, how did you get into real estate? What motivated you to go down this path?
Yeah, honestly, I grew up and I was a musician, played in bands. I still have guitars all over my house. Went to school for classical piano, all that world, but music does not make you money. But you learn how to sell as a musician because you got to convince bar owners to pay you, feed you, to go play your own music at a different city where you're not going to add any value at all. So it's probably the hardest sale you'll ever do. And I was able to get our band into 100 shows a year. So it's like, okay, I got the sales thing figured out. While I was in in music, the only jobs I could hold were restaurants, so service-based industry, and then contractors because they're always looking for help. So I was always the grunt carrying flagstone to the backyards that sucked, or someone would start the flooring and then like get the first 2 rows in, and I'd have to take it all the way except for the last 2 rows. So I did all the middle stuff while someone else came in and finished it. It was brutal labor, but I learned a lot about a house. Then I went to school for marketing. So I did a whole whack of marketing, graduated top of my class, which was grueling because I wanted to prove that I was smart in school, even though I failed math twice in high school. I was able, yeah, I was able to get a math scholarship at college.
That's crazy.
So it's just one of those things. If you apply yourself, you can do a lot more. And then out of that, I went into sales, selling advertising space, forklifts. And the last job I had was selling IT. I don't know much about IT. I knew all the alphabet soup about what things, DNS and all these servers and what they all stood for, QNAPs. I knew enough about the conversation to go in and realize I don't have to sell the equipment. I have techs that can sell the equipment and services. I just need to get the tech in front of the right person. And usually, unfortunately, because it's such a smart nerd out world in IT, all I had to do was show kindness and treat them to lunch or coffee. And these IT managers were like, someone who wants to take me out for lunch? Yeah, let's go. So it was super easy.
Yes.
And then I did that while I realized, okay, I was commuting to Toronto every day. We were swimming in debt because it didn't pay a lot of money, and we were racking up bills like crazy. We were not well off. We were pretty broke. And I realized I had to do something else. And I was like, you know what? I should just go into business for myself, get into real estate. Everyone around me was like, you should get into real estate. You do so good. You do your marketing, your sales, like you're really good at networking. So then I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go on a whim. I went to school for marketing because the guitarist of the band was like, dude, you should go to school for marketing. I was like, really? I didn't know anything about marketing. He's like, dude, just do it. I'm like, okay, I'll sign up. You pick what program. I just know it should be business of some sort. I will put my name down. I'll pay the money. Jose, you just got to tell me which one I'm going to. So I showed up for marketing, and that's what I did.
That's crazy. That's wicked, man. Well, it's a good thing you did, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the thing is like, sometimes people around you, your closest friends, know you better than yourself. And so when all of them are like, dude, you should just do real estate. You will do so well. I was like, okay. So I was working full-time in Toronto. I got my license 6 years ago this weekend. So Thanksgiving weekend. So Canadian Thanksgiving weekend. 6 years ago. So I got my license. I was like, okay, cool. I did my first open house. I was like, whoa, people come to me? I don't have to chase them? So I was like, that's it. Every single Saturday, Sunday for eternity until COVID hit, I was doing open houses. I grinded out as hard as I could. In the first year, I sold 26 houses. The average agent in my trading area was selling 4.1 houses a year. And here I was.
They must have been like, who is this guy?
Well, that's the thing is like, I
Yes.
remember I had a newborn at home. My daughter was like months old. My wife was always on mat leave. We were still struggling. And as you know, with commission, you might start working with someone now. In a month, they buy or sell or whatever they're doing, and then you got to wait 2 or 3 months. Especially this time of year, they're not closing in December; they're closing end of January. So then you get your paycheck mid to end of February, and that's when I was like, "Whoa! I got my first paycheck." Well, I'd actually gotten a whole whack of paycheck all within 2 weeks. I was like, "This is insane."
This is crazy.
So I quit my job in Toronto, gave my 2 weeks, did my 2 weeks up. Then I went full time into real estate. After 6 months of being in real estate and selling, I sold 13 houses before I quit my job. And then I walked in to the brokerage that I was signing off at the time. I was like, let's go. And I was like, oh, this is brutal. Everyone's rude. Like, I'm not a fan of this at all. The switch brokerages after that. But it was just interesting because the one girl came in. So I've been doing this for 8 years.
Oh, they're all jealous, dude.
Oh, yeah. It's like, I've sold. She was like talking down to the old time. It's like, I've sold 7 houses this year. What have you done? I was like, 13. And I just went full time to it this week. It's my first day full time. And she just literally threw the papers that she had in her hand in the air and walked down the hallway. And it's just like,
that's so crazy, man. There's so much of that. And that's one thing about going to an office, right? That there's a lot of that jealousy and competition. And especially as a new agent, you're doing that well. That's crazy, dude. Good for you.
yeah. But then it really racked up fast when I realized, like, you have to be willing as a business owner. You have to be willing to pivot when things change.
Mm-hmm.
So March 15th, 2020, I got my first income tax bill. And I was like, oh, how am I going to pay this? Like, I had the money for HST set aside, but that's $50,000 I don't have. Right. Well, I had some put money aside. I didn't realize how much money I had to have saved. So I'm like, how am I going to come up with 50 grand? This is insane. And then all of a sudden, it's like, okay, I'm going to hustle. I'm going to grind. I'm going to figure a plan out. And then March 17th, the whole world shut down with the pandemic. And we're like, okay, 2 weeks. I have not, my daughter's 1 year old now. I have not seen her. I don't remember much of her the first year of her life. So I was like, this is great. This is good for me. I'm going to do 2 weeks and I'll go back to it afterwards, but 2 weeks where I get a chance to meet my daughter really and hang out with Olivia and get to know her better. And just like 2 weeks of crazy. And up to that point, I don't even think I changed a diaper. That's how little I was around. So I was like, okay, we got this. 2 weeks. As we know, the pandemic stretched on further. And once we realized that wasn't lifting, I was like, okay, I can't do open houses anymore, which is my bread and butter. So I needed to shift and pivot. And then I started doing stuff with like SEO and Facebook ads. And I was like, wait a second. There's no competition right now for Facebook because all these businesses just dropped off. Like, oh, it's the pandemic. Stop doing whatever. So the first year of my business, I sold 26 houses. Before June 2020, I sold 26 houses. Just by getting on there, linking up with, now there's a company called ManyChat. They are phenomenal.
Yep. It's real cool.
Yeah, they're way more advanced now than when I started doing with it. So what I had to deal with ManyChat was automations. So I realized I was getting probably 150 to 200 leads from my ads a week.
Connected to your ManyChat.
And so I realized I can't handle this. This is like a full-time job answering. A lot of them are going nowhere. So what I had to do is I had to use ManyChat and create all these webs. So it's basically the conversation goes here, have it answer all in this direction. So it's all automation at this point. There's no AI back then.
Right.
So I had to build this whole robust system out. So as the lead came in, it would filter out through the funnels and I would only capture and start working with about 25 leads a week to narrow it down. I was so busy that I sold 67 houses after that year.
Jesus Christ.
And the average agent that year in my trading area sold 7. So I did start a team that year just because I needed someone to help show houses as I could.
Sure. Yeah. Buyers agents. Yep.
And then the following year, I brought on 2 other agents. and started stepping back quite a bit and started focusing as a CEO of the business. I still sold a lot myself, but I think under that branch, we'd sold 97 houses that year.
Jeez, man. Good for you, dude. I love
Thanks.
that.
But then I was so busy caught up on the growth, and as we know, once the pandemic came out, it's like the wind got taken out of our feet. So I had to really realize like who's a good agent and who is just good at opening doors.
Right. And there's a
So
lot of that.
yeah, and so I went through a whole year of getting out of things. So when you sign up for stuff in real estate, you're stuck with them for a year.
Mm-hmm.
You've signed up for a year. So now I'm like, okay, stop the bleeding, start retreating. I lost a lot of money that year. Still sold over 60 houses that year, but still lost a lot because my bills were so high. And I learned how to become a better business owner and a better CEO of my business. And that's where we're like, okay, one of the biggest rooms for improvement isn't the mindset stuff, because you can get coached and excited for a day and then you're not. But what you need and what's more sustainable is building business plans, building out your systems, building out your marketing, understanding things. And then one of the biggest pillars that we stand behind with the Agent League is building your 4 zones of marketing. And all of it comes back to sports, right? So even the logo. So you have your offense and your defense, if you think of football. That's the main 2 portions of your lead gen, right? Your 2 focuses on marketing is your offense and defense, and hopefully they lean on each other to help elevate it even further. And then behind it is your other side of it. So you have your special teams that kind of come out once in a while. Those could be a few times a year, certain initiatives that you do. And then the other one is you have a full team off the field. If your players get injured on the field, you have a whole team that has to come back on. So you basically have four groups. You have your special teams, offense, defense, and your backup players. So what I learned in the pandemic, open houses were a cash cow for me, but then that was taken away. So I had to pivot and change. So if you run your business with 4 zones of marketing, if all of a sudden something stops working, you get in your own head, oh, this doesn't work, it doesn't work. Then switch your initiative, but keep those 4 and focus on you. And those 4 zones should be what you do, not what someone else does.
Yeah, man. What you enjoy. Doesn't matter if it works for somebody else. That's it.
Yeah. Like if you it takes you like 2 hours to create one post on social media, then that's not your zone.
That's right. Get rid of it.
Or if it takes you 5 hours to get through 2 phone calls because you have so much anxiety, then stop cold calling.
That's right.
So do what's natural to you and you'll love it.
I love that, man. We preach that all the time, dude. Like, maybe you're good at YouTube cold calling open houses, but just because Donald's good at it doesn't mean you have to do that. There's all kinds of other things to create business, but there was a turning point there too. I remember you telling me you went to a training event, and that's kind of how you started the Agent League, and you ended up teaching the agents more than they learned at the training event, and everybody was like, dude, kind of like you need to go to marketing school, but like, dude, you need to start doing this.
Yeah.
So I remember you telling me that, man, when we were at that event, and I was like, that is super cool. So, man, tell me how that kind of came about and how you started the Agent League, because it's pretty incredible what you're doing with that. You're helping a ton of people. So how did that become?
Yeah, it was like so running the team, and I grew up the team pretty big, and then I've scaled back quite a bit since then, just to try and focus on what I want, not. And that was a problem of me looking around, seeing all these other mega teams are out there. I need to do that, follow that. I don't need to do what they do. I just need to do something different,
Right,
that aligns with who I am. But then my wife and I went to this event, paid quite a bit of money. We were told it's going to be a high level event. So we're like, okay, cool. I don't want this beginner stuff. I want to advance further. So we went down. We were in Texas. It was a wild ride when we were in Texas, but when we were in Texas and we were at this event, and I was like, okay, I'm waiting for the information to come. I'm waiting for the information to come. The
bored out of your tree, because we all have ADHD. All of us entrepreneurs can't sit still.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I gotta write down, stay engaged, and I was like, I'm waiting for the nuggets. I'm waiting for something good. I'm waiting for it to go from beginner to more advanced, and nothing but respect for that group that ran the conference. Like they're definitely a big company and a lot of respect for them, but it just never, for me, it just never came. I was like, this I was kind of sold the idea that this would be a lot more of a high level stuff, not beginner. So in the hotel room at the end of every day of the conference or the course or whatever you want to call it, we had agents coming into our hotel room, and I was just unpacking things at a next level or at a higher level, or teaching them stuff about what I'm doing or what they could do. And by the end of the week, they were just like, you need to do this. We learned more from you in that hotel room than we did in the 8 hours in the main room. So I was like, okay. So then I was like, all right, I already do teaching to my own agents, but this would be a lot easier if I can just record them into video format and then give them. So anytime I have a new team member, or if I want to help somebody else out, I can just give them that. Or, hey, why not sell these things too, right? Make a little bit of money back off the efforts I'm doing, as well as help agents and keep the costs low enough, because I'm seeing the prices that some of these other teams or other companies are selling. I'm like, holy crap. Like, this help people. You help more people, you bring your price down, you can get a better name for it, and you can grow that way. But that's kind of my ideas, at least. And then, so then from that point, I thought, okay, I was helping out some agents about email marketing, helping them with their newsletter at my brokerage. And then I thought, there's got to be a more time efficient way to do this. So how would I just teach the entire brokerage and see where we're at there? And I thought, okay, I did a course February 8th of this year, actually. And I thought, all right, I'm not sure if this is a way that I should go, but I'll leave it up to you, God. You kind of helped get me this far. And I was like, if it's a flop, I'll know this is not meant for me to go. We didn't even have the Name the Agent League done yet. That's how early this was. And if it goes okay, then all right, we'll continue venturing down this way until you tell me otherwise. It went so well that we had over 200 people show up, all nothing but positive responses, and I got another brokerage asked me to come out and repeat that for them.
That's awesome, man. Because and I was gonna ask you too, what are you doing for people? Because real estate's so isolated, right? And a lot of agents are so lonely, they don't even realize it. And so that right there is what you're doing, man. You're literally helping people.
Yeah,
But it's crazy. You're in a room of 200, and you're literally giving everybody a playbook of what to do and what works, right? And I bet you, out of those 200, 3 people will do it.
Yeah, more or less, right?
It's so crazy. And then people cry, why is my business thriving? Why is it working? Well, look, this has been working for me. I'm selling multiple houses, making multiple figures, and I just told you what to do, and you're not doing it. So, but that happens a lot.
One of my favorite quotes is from actually the broker record that I go under is education without execution is just entertainment.
I love that, Don. I friggin' love that, man. That's incredible. What would you, and dude, like, what would you say, like, let's say, balancing your career, like, that can be tough. Now you probably have a lot of systems in place, like myself, but a lot of people don't. And starting out, like, how do you balance that? Like, you're a husband, a father, you're very close. You do a ton of stuff with your family, which I love, because I'm the same way, man. So how do you kind of balance that with this crazy industry today?
I think the best thing to do is you realize that your life doesn't revolve around a 24-hour clock. It doesn't revolve around a 7-day week.
Mm-hmm.
You need to take the moments when they come and work the moments when they come. If you think about other professions, like, just look at a farmer, for example.
Yeah.
He's got tons of time off in the wintertime, but he has a certain seed time in the season to plant his seeds, a certain time in the season to nurture that land. And then when the harvest comes, he's crazy busy.
Yeah.
And he might not see his family, and he might just be waking up to work, to fall asleep, and he gets himself through that month or 6 weeks of the harvest season. But then he's made his bit so he can go on. And that's where I find the hardest thing for most agents is they just think in a 24-hour clock or a 7-day week. We're not confined to the 7-day weeks. We're confined to seasons in a business.
That's right. Yeah.
So when the busy season comes, you run. You forget about other stuff. And when you know that there's some seasonality to your business, you don't make plans. So I know that for us, March and April, I'm not sure when it'll be, but sometime between March and April, there's always a little spike for the spring market. So I don't make vacation plans in March and April. So, hey, you want to go on a cruise? Sure, January.
Yeah.
February, sure. Not March, not April, right? And same with when you have an unexpected twist because the interest rates are changing throughout the Bank of Canada. So with the interest rates changing, you're like, okay, right now, I'm just going to be very careful of how many things I sign myself up for because I know that at any moment, this like compression is going to break and then the buyers are going to come back out. So I need to be ready because they've been suppressed for so long all year that there's a good chance that October 24th, if there's a half rate drop, you might see that happen.
Yeah, man. You guys could definitely use it up there too, eh?
Oh my goodness. I think we're the worst province right now in Canada for.
Dude, where I live here in New Brunswick, it's a gong show. Like any listing you put up, multiple offers over and over and over. Still like that here.
I got 14 houses on the market right now.
Sitting. Yeah, there's none of that here. I don't need like. As soon as I put one up on Friday, we had 10 offers on it. It's already sold. Like that was last Friday.
Well, if I could get that for 1 week to clear out my inventory, I'd be happy.
Oh man, the bank account would like that, eh?
Yeah, just to give you an idea too, and if you look up the absorption rate and the amounts of inventory that you have in your market right now, depending on what you're looking at, like the condo market in Hamilton, it's 17 months of inventory.
Man, I read that. Like it's really it's crazy, man. We have like we're 2 months.
Yeah,
it's actually really sad for buyers here, man. But I wanted to ask you too, man. One thing, and it's cool. You just showed me before we got on this call. We were jamming out a little bit, and you were showing me all the funnels and courses you're building out. So Donald actually has a whole entire course from the step-by-step, from the ground up, from being a brand new agent, from building everything out. So I was going to ask you like one piece of advice for new agents, but man, I think the thing is to sign up for your course, dude.
Yeah,
and we'll attach Donald's info in the description here, so feel free to reach out to him, and he'll set you up with that.
For sure. Yeah. And well, actually, one thing I would say is this industry right now is under a lot of scrutiny. We're under the magnifying glass because of what happened during COVID. We were one of the few industries that were able to still operate outside of healthcare during the pandemic. There's a lot of anger and a lot of resentment, and our commission checks can be quite high. But what they don't understand is that there's so many agents that got into the industry during that time that were not really ever qualified. Oh. They're not ever.
No, they're not at all.
Properly. So when they leave and they're spreading the industry because they failed the industry and they're adding to the noise of what real estate really is, it's the reason why they failed is because they never understood what it was in the first place. We're not salespeople that sell houses. We're therapists. We're system operators. We are
divorce lawyers.
Other things, but and that's one thing that in the course we teach is like, you won't see anywhere that your job is to open doors for people. Your job is not that at all. Your job is to present. Your job is to lead, guide, train. Your job is to handle the emotional stress. Like that is what we're paid for. We're more paid along the lines of a therapist, a skilled therapist to help them guide them through a challenge, right? So it's not I signed a contract and it's done. If you have that idea, then get out of the industry because it's not for you. But the other big thing too is with all that coming around, my biggest thing that I would say is that I'm the CEO of my business, just like you're the CEO of your business. Mm-hmm. And you might think that's chief executive officer, but and a real estate agent, especially with what we're going through and all the times we're going through, the CEO should stand for something different. And my CEO stands for change equals opportunity.
Yep.
So as legislation changes, as the tools we use changes, as the industry changes and evolves and even technology comes into it, like I'm a huge advocate for AI. I speak on big stages about AI all the time. And it just, the more things change, the more opportunity that gets created for you.
100%, man. And that's the attitude you got to have. Like we were just talking about how that NAR settlement in the States is something similar is going on in Canada. But I'm like, perfect. Let's go.
Bring
Look
it
at
on.
all the opportunity that we have. Look at all the agents that aren't going to be able to, that are going to, we've been talking about this now for so long that like I'm fired up. We're ready to go. Look at all the opportunity we're going to have. You just got to adapt and man, you can't get all caught up in that. It's like, I don't get too negative about anything. It's like people complain, oh, the power is going up. Our power bills are going up. Great. Got to work harder. Got to adapt. Whatever. Nothing's going to do any good by you complaining. So, um,
Exactly.
what's your goals, man? What's your last thing I want to ask? What's your future goals with the agent league? What do you see for that?
I think what I would like to see, obviously, we're in the last quarter of the year, and this is a fairly new company. We're hoping to launch the video series November 1st. But what I would say is the biggest goal is we want to help 25 agents next year. I know it seems like a small goal, but I want 25 new agents to come in through the course and finish it. I'm not just a lot of these courses are so enormous and designed to drown you out so you don't finish it because as real estate agents,
Very overwhelming, most of them.
yeah. So my goal is I want you to finish it, and then I want 25 agents to fully finish it and then see their business grow.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that I do, even when I'm going to other brokerages and I'm speaking at brokerages, they're like, well, what's in it for you? It's like, the more I focus on you, the more I focus on helping and adding value to you and your brokerage, whatever comes my way is naturally going to show up. And that's exactly how I've done things in real estate. I don't care about having my name in lights. Sure, the team is called Porter and Associates, but that's just for searchability. It's the only reason I have it that way is SEO.
Yeah.
But everything else that I do with it is focused on the client's journey. So the way that I can say that I've been very successful is, what does that buyer timeline look like? What does that seller timeline look like? When I'm bringing on a new agent, what's their agent? Sorry, when I'm bringing on a new client, what's their onboarding like? And half these agents are like, "What? You onboard your clients?" Yeah, I onboard and offboard my clients. You're a business. This is what you should be doing. And they're like, "Holy cow!" So there's a lot of automations in the CRM that I built through Go High Level, and it's just like you come on board and I just take that contact card, drag it over to where they are in the stage in the pipeline because everything is built on their customer journey.
Right.
All of a sudden, automation happens automatically about their welcome to the team, welcome to what you can expect from working with us. Here's your checklists. Here's everything you need. And so it's like that's the kind of stuff that I want to do. The more I can help and I can increase on the real estate side, the client journey, and on the agent league side of things, the more I can help increase the real estate agent's journey to becoming better, stronger, and smarter. That's my goal. But 25.
That's incredible, man. There's not enough of people like you, dude. Like, seriously, guys, Donald knows his stuff, so we're gonna put all his info and everything right in this description here in this video. Anybody can reach out to you anytime, right? Like, no problem. So hoping this will get you you'll be able to help some agents through this video because he can definitely help you with some of the stuff he's doing. I follow him on Instagram, Facebook, and it's absolutely incredible, man. And that's why I wanted to get you on here today because you're doing some pretty cool things.
I wanted to give back as well, and I'll send you the link. But everyone who watches the show, toss some links down below. But I've actually built out through ChatGPT what I call the GPS persona finder. So we use it for the agent league. So when we're helping agents or in small businesses, because not just agents, it's also small businesses like carpenters, contractors, all that stuff. We use ChatGPT to almost like GPS track your persona, your voice, your tone, and your style of writing. So that way, when we are working with agents for a very small fee to manage their social media, because that's a time-consuming task, and get that off their plates, then we actually have them interact with the bot, the GPT, and follow it all the way to the end, and then it spits out 3 authors or writers that sound like you. So combine, just like a GPS would on a car, 3 satellites triangulating the car's location, 3 authors or writers triangulating how you write. And so then we can now use that to make all the content that we write and create for our clients sound like them. But I'll send it to you so that way anyone can use it that's following your show and following your stuff. So that way they can just follow it all. You will need the paid version of ChatGPT to get it all done in one run, but then they can have that free access to it and they can use it for themselves.
Yeah, that's wicked, man. And you'll 25, you're going to blow that out of the water. It's going to be like 55, dude.
Yeah. Well, if I went too high, my wife would snap. But I'm a big fan of the BHAGs, the big, hairy, audacious goals.
Yeah, man, that's amazing. That's cool, dude. Well, look, man, it was awesome having you on here today. We're going to definitely stay connected for sure. And again, anybody wants to talk to myself or Donald, I can connect you with him or vice versa. So have a great one, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.